Oh, hello, I'm James Henry, and it's time for our weekly opportunity to do sacred reading or Lectio Divina. I missed being with you last week. I was at our annual conference, and so I couldn't quite find a space where I could do it with you. However, here we are, back with Lectio Divina. We're still working on the first letter of John. We're in chapter 2, verses 28 and 29. We're going to listen for a word, an image, a phrase that might speak to us. Now, some of you might be wondering, what happens if I don't hear a phrase or get an image or a word that seems to speak to me? When we come to the text, we obviously are reading it, and it is reading us. And we bring with us who we are in the anticipation that Spirit will speak to us in some way. However, I want you to know that it's not a pass-fail kind of experience. Oftentimes when I do Lectio, it hasn't appeared that way perhaps since we've been doing it together, but when I do a Lectio by myself, I come away with more questions than I do images, phrases, or words. And it's okay. In fact, the second piece of the process of Lectio Divina, not that you have to have all the pieces, but the second piece is really asking questions of the text. And sometimes we walk away from the text with more questions than we have a clear image of what we were meant to do. And questions are a good thing. I want to say to you right now, questions are a very good thing. I think that if you are absolutely certain you have all that you need to know about the divine, you probably don't, and neither do I, and neither does anybody else living or dead. The truth is, there is an infinite number of mysterious truths that we might glean about one who is infinite. Scripture and sacred reading and sacred texts give us a glimpse, and those glimpses can be helpful. So if you walk away with a question or without anything really at all, but the opportunity to ponder the text, maybe come back to it later, come back to it tomorrow, read it aloud to yourself 2 or 3 times and let it speak, and maybe it'll speak the next time and maybe it won't. Don't get bogged down in that. Just let the question live in you until perhaps another question comes along. So today, 1 John chapter 2, verses 28 and 29. Now I'll read it to you. Pause. You can stop right then. You can stop the video right then and just let it soak into you. Perhaps play it again and listen to the text, or read it again yourself and let it speak to you. But afterwards, I will try to reflect something back that rose for me in the text. Sometimes I'll try to be open to more questions that rise in the text than answers. And I don't even think of the images as answers, the words as answers, but an invitation to ponder more deeply. So let's listen together, calm ourselves and breathe. Listen together for a word from Spirit to us today. So I say again, my much loved children, remain in harmony with the Chosen One, so that when he appears, we may stand boldly before him and not have to hang our heads in shame. Since you know that the Chosen One always does what is right, you can be sure that the Great Spirit is the Father of all who walk in his right ways. Several words stood out to me today. The first of which was the word harmony. Harmony. I was raised in a fairly musical way. Loved to sing, played the trombone in the band from 6th grade, 5th grade on. And when you listen to music, you can feel when it is in harmony and when it resonates, when the flow is even and speaks to us. And there's also a sense of what it is to be dissonant. Seems like when I walk around in the world today, there's a lot of dissonance. And I can't be responsible for all the dissonance out there. I can only be responsible to the way the text ends, which is to walk in God's right ways. To walk in God's right ways, and in so doing, to be in harmony. To be in harmony with that flow. And perhaps as I try to walk more harmoniously, more lovingly, which seems to be a very big theme in 1 John, in the whole of sacred texts, if I walk in that harmony, perhaps the harmony will bring less dissonance in the places I find myself. So I'm going to look for the harmonies. I'm going to listen closely with the ears of my heart for the harmonies that life might offer to me as I do my best to walk in that path, not only by myself, but with others who are also trying to walk in the path, to learn from them and perhaps to walk in harmony with them as well. Seems like to me that's one of the most beautiful things we're called to do, is to walk in harmony in the right paths of this infinite, loving, divine being that we call God. And so, my friends, remember that you are infinitely precious and unconditionally loved for the gift that you are right now. And listen to the text and see what it might say to you, what questions might rise for you, because that's a part of listening to the text as well. And maybe live with the questions without the anticipation that you'll get an answer that even necessarily satisfies you. So until